So we are in chapter 1 on JSP. So these are all the chapters what we should look into JSP. So we'll be doing a JSP introduction and then implicit objects, and then JSP directives. So specifically page directives and a lot of other things what we should look into. And then now we are going to call Java objects from JSP. And there is something called custom tag libraries. How we can write our own tag library. One, there is something called JSP expression language and JSTL tags what we should know, and what is this MVC design pattern, model view controller design pattern, how we can implement MVC design pattern using servlets and JSPs. And the second example would be like which will involve database. So we'll be using MySQL database and we'll retrieve some data from the database and show it in our JSP using a MVC design pattern. So that's what we are going to see it in JSP. So let's get started with JSP. So JSP stands for Java Server Pages, and this came in the year 1999-2000. So actually this came slightly later. Initially servlet came in, and after 1 year, 1.5 years period of time only the JSP came in. What is problem with servlet and why they invented why JSP came in? So JSP, what they are telling is like JSP will provide a clear separation of content and logic, content and data, not logic. Content is nothing but your markup is nothing but your HTML, and then data is going to be the data from dynamic system. So data from DB or any processed data, your Java code will process the data, right? That data. So JSP will have a clear separation between content and data. The problem with servlet is like, so in servlet, whatever we are going to send to the browser, we are going to put it in out.println. Out is going to be an object of type print writer, and here in double quotes we are writing the HTML tag. So this is not good, this is not also convenient. Wherever we want a dynamic content, we are just appending this particular string with the dynamic content. Of course, string append is not a good programming practice. It will have performance problems. Also, putting something inside out.println, putting your markup in out.println is very difficult, because your markup can have CSS, cascading style sheets, and it can have JS also, JavaScripts also, and it will be really difficult to put JavaScript and cascading style sheets inside our out.printlns, right? So but JSP provides a clear separation between the content and markup. Let's write a simple JSP and let's see how JSP is going to work. Let's go to web content and write a simple JSP, new file, and I'll write it as first.jsp. So first.jsp, let's put an h1 content, and let's say put or define a string, hello JSP, and we want to print this out. So in order to print this out, you can do like out.println, and yes, so here magically you will get a variable called out, and we should know what is this particular variable out. We call that as an implicit variable, and we should know what is this particular implicit variable. That we are going to see in the next chapter, the JSP implicit variable. Now let's see how JSP is going to work. See how JSP is going to work. When a JSP is requested from the browser, what happens is like JSP will be converted into a servlet source, and then this servlet source will get compiled into .class files, and then the .class file executes, right? This is what is happening. So every JSP will be converted into a servlet, and we can see this servlet source code as well, and that particular servlet source code on the fly will get compiled into a .class file, and that particular servlet.class file is what is getting executed. So that is the reason why when we request JSP for the first time, this conversion process will give a slight delay. Second time when I am going to invoke JSP, already the dot class file is available. Simply it will execute the dot class file. So we wrote a simple JSP now, and we can request this particular JSP, run on server. So this JSP got executed and we got the underlying output. Now we can go and see where the underlying say servlet source code got generated. See, that should be there somewhere. Probably it will be difficult to look into this particular servlet source code in the Tomcat which got configured inside our Eclipse. But what happens is like this particular Tomcat is configured inside Eclipse, and this Tomcat instance will be available, the Tomcat copy will be available in your workspace metadata. So I have just double clicked the Tomcat, this page got opened, and it should be available in the metadata plugins, this particular directory org eclipse wst server core, inside that temp0. So that's the place where your Tomcat will be there. So let's go to that particular place. So how to go to workspace? Just go to file, switch workspace and click other. You will have the workspace directory. Copy this workspace directory. Don't switch the workspace, just click cancel and go to your Windows Explorer and go to this particular directory. And inside this you will have dot metadata somewhere. Here it is. And inside dot metadata dot plugins. And inside dot plugins, if you see org eclipse wst server core. So org eclipse wst server core, it's there here, and inside this we have temp0 and it's there here. So in your underlying temp0 the Tomcat working directories are available, and inside this we should go to the work directory, and inside this Catalina localhost, and first is our project name, right? So first, and inside this org Apache JSP, and this is where our JSP source code, our servlet source code and the dot class file will reside. So this is the generated servlet source code for our JSP. So this is the JSP what we have wrote, which is a very simple JSP, and this is the generated servlet source code. This particular generated servlet also follows the servlet lifecycle. It's a simple servlet where you will have the init method, and then you will have the service method available. So there is a init method, there is a destroy method, and there is a service method. So inside this particular service method, the code what we have wrote will be available. Look at here. This is the code what we have wrote, correct? So string s equal to hello JSP and out.println is available. So this is the code which we have wrote, and this is available inside our service method. I will go and change the code here. Say I will add one more thing, and I will add out.println again, and I will go to and request the browser again, and browser inbuilt browser we have requested. So let's request this again. I think I have shut down the server. Let's start this. Let's refresh this. So the JSP got changed. If you come here, this source code also will get changed now. See, the whatever changes I have done it in JSP, that changes will get immediately reflected in this particular source code. So this is how JSP works. Every JSP is converted into the servlet source code, and that servlet source code will get compiled and it is going to get executed. So in your generated source code at the top, you will see when this particular say source code got say generated and other information. So this is giving the UTC timeline. UTC timeline, universal timeline, it is giving. Right? So this is how a simple JSP works. So it converts into a servlet source code, compile it, and it is going to execute it. So in the next chapter, we'll talk about the JSP implicit variables. Thank you.